Hello and welcome, and today we will be discussing how libidO by OnlyOneOf gives us further insight into their lore. If you would like to read about it instead, there will also be links in the description. OnlyOneOf's world has always included biblical references. In Sage, they are asking for forgiveness for their sins, and in Angel, they made sure to reference the all-finem angel, or the one that has eyes everywhere, but for now, we'll be discussing libidO. This theory is not entirely accurate, for it is fan-made, and OnlyOneOf has always been vague about their lore, since they would like it to be up to the viewer's interpretation. This is just the way one sees it. There are good theories out there too.
That libidO, the title track, is inspired by the instinct theory of Sigmund Freud. According to Freud, libido is subconscious and is an instinct that is the source of our wants and impulses. In society, sexual desires are something that people define as taboo, which is why the boy in their story tries to suppress it. But the more he tries to hide it, his libido only grows stronger. This is evident in the lyrics of the song, with them singing, "Don't suppress it. Just accept it, and I trust you and I accept it. Leave it to libido." As mentioned earlier, OnlyOneOf references the Bible quite often in their lore. It seems like libido is set in the Garden of Eden. The place has lush greenery and seems to be the epitome of paradise. We can see this description in Genesis chapter 2 verses 9 to 14. There are many depictions of what the forbidden fruit was, since it was not explicitly stated in the story for Adam and Eve. However, it seems that in art, it is usually depicted as a citron tree. We can see Mill standing next to one, and he is even surrounded by them. Mill and Nine are always together, always in interchangeable positions with each other. Both of them also seem to be preoccupied. Nine is always reading a book, and Mill tries his best to keep his headphones on. Love is always in the middle of them, and they watch him with longing and need. It seems like Mill and Nine are the two personas that one boy has. Mill wants to continue to suppress his libido and continue to conform to society. Nine wants to take on the adventure and the risk, and to explore himself even further. Love could potentially represent the libido that the boy in the story is trying to suppress, which is why it seems as if they are always tempted by him so often. In the Bible, Palm Sunday is Jesus' triumphal entry into Jerusalem. He fulfills Zechariah 9 verse 9, and many other Bible verses which state that a king would arrive. Palm leaves symbolize victory and triumph, and in the scenes with Love inside the tub, we can see the emphasis on how he is fondling a palm leaf. This is foreshadowing that no matter how much they try to suppress it, their libido will always win and completely take over them in the end. Next, we can see the love triangle of Love, Mill and Nine exploring in the woods. This is a more sensual part of the music video, which deals with the boy's exploration of his sexuality. We can see Nine looking into the outside from the woods, and he sees how life is for those that give in to libido instead of suppressing it. So he explores what libido has to offer, testing the waters. We can see Junji and Rie being the happiest couple throughout the entire music video. They are always intimate and comfortable with each other, enjoying each other's presence without a care in the world. We can interpret Junji and Rie as those who have fully given into libido. They are free and liberated to live the life they want to. In a scene, we see them standing in front of a deciduous tree. This deciduous tree is reminiscent of what the tree of knowledge of good and evil became when Adam and Eve ate the forbidden fruit. We can say that Junji and Rie have consumed the forbidden fruit. For OnlyOneOf, the forbidden fruit could be the true pleasure and true life one can experience and know once you have fully given into libido. Yu Jung and Cuban are a couple who seem to be unbalanced when it comes to affection. Cuban is someone that has given into libido, but not entirely. He looks into the distance often, and we can infer that he is someone who still tries to suppress it and conform to what society thinks he should be. Yu Jung is always touchy with him, and Yu Jung always looks at Junji and Rie with longing. He wants his relationship with Cuban to be like that too. He wishes Cuban would fully give into libido, so they can truly experience their relationship to the fullest. What is it like to be a couple who has fully succumbed into libido? Next, we can see them holding a potluck event of some sort. There is an emphasis on the wine and grapes that they consume. This is reminiscent of the Last Supper in the Bible, an event that occurred before Jesus was crucified. In Luke chapter 22 verse 20, Jesus states that the cup with the wine symbolizes the new covenant. In Christianity, the new covenant is the new relationship between humanity and God, which is mediated by Jesus once they declare that they believe in Jesus Christ as Lord and God. But for OnlyOneOf, what is the new covenant? For them, it could mean that once they declare that they have given into libido entirely, they will become mediated with their new selves, true and accepting of their real personalities that society has wanted them to suppress. Aside from this being a possible reference to the Last Supper, it could also represent that they have finally consumed the forbidden fruit, which is succumbing to libido. Something that solidifies this is in photos for the Instinct album, we can see 9 eating an apple, and a lyric for Tear of God also talks about eating the forbidden fruit. In the music video, we can also see that love's arm around 9 is emphasized. As mentioned earlier, with the palm leaf symbolism, this could show that libido has finally won over the boy. In the choreography for this song, we also see that they form a cross that possibly symbolizes the crucifixion of Jesus. For Christians, crucifixion was necessary. Jesus' death was required so that humankind could restore their relationship with God. People receive a new joy and power in this new life that crucifixion brings. For OnlyOneOf, this means that they are finally saying goodbye to their old selves that have died. These are their old selves that cared about what society had to say, and constantly suppressed their libido. Because they have given into libido now, they will live new lives that are true to themselves. Next, we see this scene that occurs on the beach. Junji is wrapping Rie's wrist with a linen cloth. This could be a reference to Matthew chapter 27 verses 59 to 60. Joseph buries Jesus' body in a linen cloth and places it into a new tomb. In Christianity, Jesus' death occurs to fulfill a prophecy. He dies only to rise again, and brings peace to the entire universe. For OnlyOneOf, they are burying their old selves that denied the truth because of their fear of succumbing to libido. Their old selves pass away, but this occurs to ensure that their new selves that are entirely succumbed to libido will now live freely and truly. We can see that Cuban sees this entire thing, too. Cuban sees the true happiness Junji and Rie have because they fully gave in to their desires and wants. He stops suppressing his true self, and gives in to libido truly and fully. This is the first time we see him express his real heart towards Yu-jung. His eyes are filled with love and affection towards him. He's no longer looking into the distance, nor is he cold towards Yu-jung anymore, because he has fully given into libido. Next we see that there is this emphasis on Rie's hands in the music video. This could be a reference to John chapter 20 verses 24 to 31. This chapter talks about how Thomas, a disciple, is doubtful of Jesus' resurrection, and he says that he has to touch the holes that Jesus' hands got from the nails of the crucifixion. And so Jesus appears, and makes Thomas touch his hands. And from here, Thomas fully believes. For OnlyOneOf, this could mean that they were once doubtful of what a life fully succumbed to libido was like. They were not sure if it was worth it to give in and risk it all. But now that they have experienced a life that's succumbed to libido, they now know what it's like to be free and to be true to themselves. They love the life that their new selves have because of the liberation it entails. In the end, we also see them running on a field with smiles on their faces. This could depict the liberation they finally received once they fled the Garden of Eden, and when they followed their own instinct instead. They are free from people's expectations, they now march to the beat of their own drum. And in these moments, it depicts that the risk was all worth it, since they now finally experience real happiness. Though there are many interpretations to it, libido by OnlyOneOf goes deeper than its sexual aspects. It is a beautiful story that can also be interpreted as a boy finally getting over internalized homophobia and accepting his true, real self. It is another extension to OnlyOneOf's well thought out and meticulously created lore, that shows the ability the group has when it comes to showcasing artistry and talent. Their music tells a story. And beautifully so.